Would you still check in if the room you booked didn't exist on the hotel's floor plan? They called it Room 313, a simple, ordinary listing on a travel website. Mid-range pricing, clean photos, and a single 5-star review posted years ago. But no one could ever trace who wrote it. And if you look closely, the pictures show details that don't match any part of the hotel. Tonight, you'll hear the true story of a guest who stayed in a room that shouldn't have been there. A room that doesn't appear on the current blueprints. A room that hotel staff refused to acknowledge ever existed. In 2014, a traveling accountant named Evelyn Hart checked into the Hillcrest Grand, a hotel just off Interstate 92 outside Chicago. She was there for a 2-night business stay. She never made it to checkout. The hotel claimed she left early. Her company never saw her again. Her belongings were discovered days later, locked inside a room that didn't show up in the system. No booking record, no access logs, and no one could explain how the door was locked from the inside. We obtained the last surviving footage recorded by the hotel's security cameras. The hallway lights flicker at 1:47 a.m. A figure, barely visible, walks toward room 313, then disappears right before reaching the door. What you're about to hear next is a reconstruction based on police reports, recovered footage, and statements from the remaining hotel staff, all of whom refused to go back inside that hallway after what happened, because whatever was in that room was never meant to be found. Welcome back to Nightfall Archives. Tonight's story isn't about graveyards or the ruins of forgotten towns. It's about a modern 5-star hotel, still operating today. A place known for its perfect service, warm lights, and rooms that smell faintly of lavender and bleach. A place that looks safe, the Graybridge Inn, opened in 1987, a symbol of comfort and wealth on the outskirts of downtown Milwaukee. Hundreds of guests pass through its glass doors every week, but not everyone leaves with the same story. Every review seems ordinary until you read the last line. They all end the same way. Don't stay in room 313. Some claim it's just an inside joke, a superstition that spread online. Others, mostly staff, say the number was retired after an incident that the hotel never acknowledged publicly. And yet, when we checked in for this investigation, the key card they handed us read 313. Stay with me until the end, because what we uncovered about room 313 has never been shown publicly. Until now. You arrived late. Your flight was delayed by a storm that's now followed you across the state. The rain hasn't stopped for hours, sheets of it hammering the windshield as you pull into the circular drive of the Graybridge Inn. The building looks newer than you expected, but somehow wrong. The sign glows faintly in the fog, letters flickering, like it's struggling to stay lit. Inside, the lobby is almost too quiet. Soft piano music plays from nowhere, and the air smells faintly of lemon polish and old carpet. You step up to the front desk. The clerk doesn't look up right away. She's typing something, or pretending to. When she finally glances at you, her eyes slide past yours, as if she's not supposed to engage for long. You give your name. She nods once. No small talk, no smile. Then she reaches into a drawer and places a single keycard on the counter. Her nails tap twice beside it. Room 313, top floor. She hesitates before pushing it toward you. As you turn to leave, she adds quietly, so low you almost miss it. Elevators to your right. It might take a while. The luggage cart by the door rattles on its own, just once, as you pass. You tell yourself it's the wind. The elevator smells faintly of metal and bleach. You press 3. It doesn't light up. You press it again. Nothing. Then, without warning, the elevator moves. You watch the numbers change. 1, 2, 4. It skips the 3rd floor entirely. You're about to step back, to call the front desk. But the elevator shutters. The lights flicker once, twice, and the door slides open. The metal sign above reads 3. You step out. The hallway feels longer than it should be, stretching just slightly too far, like the angles don't add up. The walls are painted cream, but age has yellowed them. The carpet underfoot feels uneven, soft in some spots, hard in others, as if something underneath has shifted. Every door on the floor is dark. No room numbers, no light seeping from beneath. Except yours, room 313. The brass numbers are freshly polished, gleaming against the dull wood. A faint hum seems to come from behind it. Not electricity, but something else. You step inside. The air hits colder than the hallway. Not air-conditioned cold, still cold. Like the kind that sits in basements or freezers. The light switch doesn't respond immediately. You press it twice before the lamp flickers on. And that's when you see it, a suitcase. On the bed, already there. The bag isn't new. The fabric's scuffed at the edges, like it's been through airports, years of travel. A luggage tag dangles from the handle. The paper inside, half torn. The ink blurred from water damage. Only part of a name remains visible. Da-M-. You freeze. That name sounds familiar. You check the bathroom. Towels folded, toiletries untouched. Check the closet. Empty. No coat, no shoes. But the suitcase is zipped closed. There's something unsettling about its placement. Not at the foot of the bed, but centered. Perfectly centered. As if someone had set it there for you. You think about going downstairs. You even pick up your phone. No signal. You try the landline. Dead tone. And then you notice the room number printed on the plastic phone label. Room 312. You blink. You check the key card. Still 313. But the phone says otherwise. You feel the air change, just slightly. Like someone walked past behind you. You turn. No one there. The suitcase hasn't moved. But the tag, it's flipped. The full name is now visible under the lamp. David Merrow, the missing man from the 2012 incident. The one who walked down this hallway and never left. If you walked into a hotel room and found someone else's suitcase on the bed, would you stay or leave? It's past 2 a.m. The rain hasn't stopped, but now it sounds further away. You check your phone again. No service. You sit on the edge of the bed, listening to the air vent hum faintly overhead. That's when the phone rings. You hesitate, then answer. Static, soft, broken noise, like someone breathing through cloth. No voice. You wait 5 seconds, 10, then hang up. The phone rings again. You pull the cord from the wall. It stops. For a moment, the silence feels heavier. Then, a faint click from the corner of the room. The television turns on. The screen flickers to life. Not the hotel channel, not cable. It's a live security feed. The camera is pointed at the third-floor hallway. You see your door. Room 313, closed. You lean forward, confused, watching the grainy image. Nothing moves. Then, after a few seconds, something changes. A figure appears. At first, it's just a shadow at the far end of the hallway. Still, too still. Then it steps forward, one slow movement at a time, until it's standing directly in front of your door. It doesn't knock. It doesn't move. It just stands there. Then the head tilts, slightly, toward the camera. Almost like it's looking directly at you. You blink. The feed cuts to static. You sit frozen for a full minute. No sound except your heartbeat. You tell yourself it was a loop, an error. Maybe the feed wasn't live. But you know what you saw. And somehow, the air feels colder. At 7:42 a.m., you go downstairs. The lobby feels different in daylight, smaller, almost unfamiliar. You approach the front desk. A new clerk is there. Older man, neat uniform, polite smile. You ask him a simple question. Can you tell me who stayed in room 313 before me? He frowns. Sir, we don't have a 313. You hold up your key card. He takes it, turns it over, and stares at it like it shouldn't exist. It's not one of ours, he says quietly. Then he checks the computer. Types your name. Waits. Nothing. He looks back up. Are you sure you're staying here? You start to answer, but his eyes flick toward the hallway leading to the elevators. Something changes in his face, a small tightening, like he's realized something and doesn't want to. He whispers almost to himself, that floor's been sealed for years. You turn, slowly, and there, Across the lobby, the elevator doors are open. Waiting. The light above them flickers between numbers that don't make sense. 2, 4, 2, 3. Your room key, the one that shouldn't exist, feels warm in your pocket. You walk closer. The air around the elevator feels heavier, as if the space itself is leaning toward you. Inside, the floor panel flickers. The button for 3, glowing faintly. The clerk calls after you. "Sir, don't..." The doors slide shut. The ride feels longer than before. The lights overhead dim one by one. You feel movement, but not upward, like drifting through thick air. When the doors finally open, it's not the same hallway. The carpet's darker. The walls are covered in a faint pattern you don't remember. You look down. Your suitcase is sitting at the end of the hall. Open now. You step out, carefully. The air smells faintly of damp linen and rust. The door to 313 stands ahead, slightly ajar. You whisper to yourself that this can't be real. And then, from behind the door, a voice. Soft, calm. Familiar. You made it back. You take a step forward. The TV inside turns on again. On the screen, the security feed shows the hallway. You, standing exactly where you are. Only this time, you're not alone. A second figure stands behind you. Would you step inside the elevator? Or run? 3 weeks later, you come back. Not because you want to, because you can't stop thinking about it. You told yourself it was stress, exhaustion. But every night since leaving the Graybridge Inn, you've dreamed the same dream. A hallway that never ends. And a phone ringing from somewhere deep inside the walls. So you return, just to see, just to prove it isn't real. The cab drops you off in front of the hotel, and for a moment, you think you've come to the wrong place. It looks new. The cracked windows are replaced, the sign repainted. There's even a modern lobby now, glass, marble, cheerful lighting. No trace of neglect. The air smells like lemon polish again, exactly the same as before. You walk to the counter. The clerk, a young woman this time, smiles politely. "Welcome to the Graybridge Inn. Checking in?" You hesitate. You ask about room 313. The smile falters. She glances toward the back office, then lowers her voice. "We don't usually talk about that room." You lean in. "Why not?" She hesitates again, then whispers, "That's where the fire started." The guest was never identified. You freeze. "A fire?" You ask when. She checks her screen. April 12th, 2019. Your pulse stutters. That's the date you checked in. You ask to see the guest records. She hesitates, but something in your tone convinces her. After a moment, she brings out a thick, leather-bound guest ledger, the kind that should have been replaced years ago. You flip through the pages until you find it. April 12th. There, written in fading ink, your own name, room 313. You stare at it for a long time, unable to breathe. The handwriting looks shaky, familiar. You ask who wrote it down. The clerk shakes her head. The records don't say. The entire third floor was sealed after the fire. It's just storage now. But you know that's not true. You remember the hallway, the suitcase, the static on the screen. You remember her voice whispering, "You made it back." You ask to see it anyway. After some arguing, she gives in, reluctantly. She calls maintenance to unlock the service elevator. The air inside smells old, not burned, but trapped. As you rise, the building creaks softly, as if remembering. When the elevator stops, the door opens, and there's nothing, just a solid wall of smooth plaster. No hallway, no door, no room 313. You reach out, touching the surface, fresh paint, cool under your palm. But as your hand lingers, you feel something behind it, a faint vibration. Then, you freeze. The sound comes again. It's not in the room, it's behind the wall. You lean closer, pressing your ear against the plaster. You can hear it clearly now, a phone ringing, echoing faintly, like it's calling from a room that shouldn't exist. Then something else, a voice, Faint, muffled. It's your voice. Front desk? There's someone in my room. You stumble back. The clerk shouts from the elevator, "Sir, are you all right?" You don't answer. You press your hand to the wall again, desperate. The paint under your fingers feels warmer now, almost pulsing. You look down. There, barely visible beneath the white surface, a faint outline, a doorframe, a handle, and the number 313. You can hear movement on the other side now. Someone walking, slow, uneven steps. You whisper, trembling, "Who's there?" Silence. Then a soft voice, right next to your ear. You never checked out. They sealed the third floor again a week later. The staff said no one had been up there. The elevator hadn't moved all night. But if you listen closely, sometimes you can still hear a faint ringing sound behind the plaster wall. And every year on April 12th, a single guest name appears in the ledger. Same handwriting, same date, same room, room 313. Hotels see thousands of guests every year, different faces, different stories, but not everyone leaves a record. And sometimes, the ones who don't, never really left at all. So next time you check in, count the floors carefully, watch the buttons on the elevator. If it skips a number and stops between two floors, don't step out, because some rooms were never meant to be opened, and some guests are still waiting to be checked out. If this story kept you watching tonight, imagine what's waiting in our next episode. Subscribe, if you dare.